earlier, they would just get in touch with the vendor, go for a demo,
Right.
understand what they have, to offer, and then make a decision. 71% of consumers expect personalized interactions, and 76% are already frustrated when they don't get them.
How do you then make sure that all your sales guys, your SDRs, of course, in analyst meetings, you are giving them a briefing, so how do you really ensure that they are seamless throughout?
Some SDRs are from different backgrounds. So what we do is we create these, scripts for them which they can read properly, and we create battle cards for them. When we give them that one version of truth, everybody knows that yes, this is what they have to talk.
Hi, everybody, and hi, Rohit.
Hi, Apsida.
I'll take a minute in bringing back why Fireside chats were important for us. So, Fireside chat was the theme we started. We had the CIO speaking and we had the techpreneurs sitting, but we realized that who's taking them to market really? So we realized we need a revenue spotlight series. So these Fireside chats were a leadership series decoding how modern growth leaders are architecting a scalable, predictable revenue system across marketing, sales, product, and the C-suite. At these times, I think I'm very glad to host you. You are my second speaker of the season, Rohit. And with that, I would like to tell the audience that Rohit Gupta is a seasoned marketing leader with over 15 years of experience in enterprise tech marketing, spanning across AI, digital platforms, and enterprise softwares. So welcome me in joining Rohit. Thank you so much, Rohit, to come on a weekend morning.
Thank you, Psita. The pleasure is all mine. Thank you for the opportunity to have this discussion. I'm looking at this more of a conversation about what's happening in the industry, and looking forward to the discussion with you.
I'm so glad. With that, since I built, I understand I went through your profile, we had one earlier discussion. I wanted to hear your perspective on the evolution of enterprise marketing. What I mean to say is that, yes, the last decade, how has it evolved? And you've been there for 15 years into this industry. So what are the phases you saw them evolving into? And how do you differentiate between marketing services versus platforms versus AI products?
Sure.
Yeah.
So before I begin, I would like to take you back a few years ago when B2B marketing, or enterprise marketing as you call it, was largely driven by vendors who would, chart the narrative as to what they are doing, what kind of services they can offer, and how it could impact the potential client or the buyer in the conversation. But cut to 2026 and a few years ago, the scenario has completely changed, right? Now, what happens is the buyer is trying to understand much before he or she gets in touch with you. They are trying to do their own research and analysis as to what is the kind of solution that they're looking for, right? If I have to quote Gartner, Gartner says 83% of a B2B buying journey happens before a buyer even engages with a vendor, right? So I've got this data point, and it's a big number, because earlier they would just get in touch with a vendor, go for a demo, understand what they have, to offer, and then make a decision. So they would analyze multiple vendors, would come to a conclusion, they would shortlist and do all of these things. But now, even before they reach out to you, they are doing their research, and they're looking. It's not just that they're studying your website, so they're looking at multiple places. Like there are so many websites where there are reviews generated. There's something like a G2 marketplace, right? So that's where most of these vendors have their listings, right? So they read all of that, they read the reviews, and then they look at your what are you saying on social media platforms, right? So what messages are you going, how are people interacting with that?
Yeah.
So a lot of these things they analyze, and by the time they are getting in touch with the vendor, they would have almost made up their minds.
Yeah.
And the second thing that I would like to talk about is the complexity now, which is going into the buying decision. So earlier, if you would see, there used to be just a few decision makers from the buyer's company, from the buyer's perspective. They would largely be the CTO and maybe the CEO, who would just communicate and understand what the vendor has to offer and make a decision. Today, surprisingly, the buying committee is anything between 6 to 10 people. I'm calling it as a buying committee because that is what it's a group of people you're selling to today. So, as a vendor, you have to be conscious about the fact that there are different people, different personas in that in that committee that you have to cater to, and one messaging will not fit all of them, right? A CFO, if he or she is in that committee, will look for how quickly your solution can generate ROI, right? What is the quicker time to value? CTO will be looking at obviously the technical aspects of your solution, and then a CISO will look at governance, security, and these aspects, right?
Two very interesting observations. This is the reality, you are very right. Rather, when you talked about they already knowing 83% of them, 83% of the work is done, or they already, its journey is made. But I'll tell you something. When, let's say, even a small example of course, when I talk to a company also, right, I do check things on LinkedIn. I do check things, what people are speaking, very right, what are people responding. So it gives me a proof in the pudding that if they wrote something, how were they received? Did somebody show positive credibility? Did somebody echo what they did, right? No. So of course I'm looking for those signals. But having said that, how do you then apply as a marketer? How are you leveraging it today?
73% of B2B marketing executives, they rank word of mouth and peer recommendations as the most influential factor in deciding which vendors to even consider, right? So it's not just important that you have your messaging out there on your website and your social media platforms. You have to create that kind of influence
Everywhere.
with
So
people.
you must be like G2, Captura, your
Yes.
customer testimonials, videos. But
Yeah.
tell me, I mean, we have to be 10-handed, as marketers. So how are you juggling between that story? How do you go about a framework, and how you go about going about implementing these things?
So on a day-to-day basis, what we do is first we have to be very sure about the value proposition that we're going out with to the market, right? And we try and make sure that it is reflecting in all our communications that go outside, be it our emails, be it our LinkedIn outreach, be it on the website, be it on social media, be it through our videos, right? And then we make sure that the same value proposition is communicated to all our stakeholders as well, and as well as the influencers that you rightly mentioned about the analyst community. So if
Did
I
you guys use a tool to help you do that, like the sales enablement tools? There are many, or have you developed something in-house to ensure? Let's say I believe you must be on a drawing board where you must be taking your stakeholders, product team, and everything, and you decide this is you're going to be the central message. But then, how do you then make sure that all your sales guys, your SDRs, of course, in analyst meetings, you are giving them a briefing. So how do you really ensure that they are seamless throughout? How do you ensure your sales guys are speaking the same language? Or am I over making it complex? You tell me.
No, so I think it's pretty simple. There's nothing very complex here. So we use HubSpot for all our website, email communications, and all of these things, right? Even the sales people, the sales teams also are on HubSpot. Earlier, it used to be a little complicated, but now in the current world that we are living in, I think everything has become very simplified. Some SDRs are from different backgrounds, so what we do is we create these scripts for them, which they can read properly, and we create battle cards for them so that they have an understanding of what we are offering vis-a-vis what our competitors are offering. So when we give them that one version of truth, everybody knows that yes, this is what they have to talk and this is what they have to communicate to a prospective buyer. So that way we have simplified it, rather than earlier, as you were saying, it used to be complicated, and basis their background, they used to understand and perceive the solution in a different way. But now we have tried to standardize everything and simplify everything for that.
When we started our journey with doing CIO chats, we used to always ask them this question, that what is that you would like to comment as a gap in your current technology set, or the way things are, or how the softwares are working. Maybe it's a HubSpot, or it's a sales enablement platform, or it is whatever platforms, or a ABM tool. Do you see any gaps, or you would want a solution to operate in a better or a different fashion, so that your new age employees, or this multi-departmental, or the customer journey is exposed to so many platforms now? Do you have any suggestion or ideas for the ecosystem to work on?
If you're looking at email marketing only, there are tools that have come up in place like Lucia and Clay. I don't know if you've used them, but they are extremely, efficient, and they kind of give you the results very fast. So if somebody is using it, they could also recommend it to their clients.
Which is the feature you're really liking right now? And what is that you say, okay, still I need that feature, this one more feature coming in? Anything you want to, just that comes into your mind?
So a lot of these features which are coming in these days is you upload your set of database, the kind of target audience that you have,
Uh,
and they kind of use AI generated messages.
with the
Like they
message.
suggest, yeah, that this is the kind of messaging you can go to
Right, right,
market with for these kind of audiences, right? So
right, right,
obviously you can always enhance it and you can work on it and build on it. But a
right.
lot of these engines are now giving you these AI suggestions that, hey, this could be a messaging for this kind of an audience. Why don't you go with this? So that is one of the features I think which I would say is like useful these days.
It's an AI product that you are marketing. Any differences, particularly between marketing services and AI based products? Is there any difference that you see or the way
Correct.
you're doing it? Yeah,
So agentic AI has been in the news for the last few years.
yeah,
Before that, nobody knew about agentic AI, right? So
right.
the challenge when you're marketing agentic AI is, see, when it's an established category, right, you have to lead with differentiation, right?
Yeah,
Because be it CRM, ERP, a lot of things, there
yeah,
are multiple players, people know about it, and you can lead with differentiation that, hey, this is how we differentiate, these are our differentiators. But
right,
when it's a new category, then you are marketing to a new category. All you have to do is you have to create the category and be a leader, be a pioneer in that, right? Because you're not competing against competitors there, you're competing against companies which are
yeah,
unsure about what agentic AI can do. Many
yeah,
of them do not
yeah.
even know what it is. Some companies would say that, hey, we'll start explaining this is what we can do and all of that. But hey, you have to take a step back and they have to
Yeah.
understand that first, understand what the customer's pain point is. Many companies today, Ipsita, do not know
Uh,
which division or which process of their business they have to identify, right?
yeah.
So even before you start selling to them, first listen to them and understand, hey, okay, let me first understand your business. Okay, now this process, say your this say I'm just saying it for so your HR or marketing process or
Yeah,
this process can be autonomized with an AI agent. So
right,
first you have to enable, you have to play the enabler's role now. It's
right,
not more about selling, right? So you have
right.
to educate, enable, and empower. That's how I use the three E's. If
Yeah,
you ask me, so that's the marketing approach. You have to educate, enable them, and empower them with agentic AI. Because unless they are educated, unless they're aware, they will not know what to do with the agentic AI solution you're trying to sell to them, right?
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
educate them, inform them, and then enable them like, hey, this is how, show them the use cases. You have to lead with use cases here. So this is what's different from normal B2B marketing and B2B marketing for agentic AI solutions.
So how do you deal with your educating? You already educating, but you also need to create a demand gen platform. Sorry, the demand gen funnel. So how do you balance between the two? That's an important challenge to face. How do you manage that, Rohit? Yeah.
So it is again, it happens through all our education awareness campaigns that we are creating. We try and even launch a lot of thought leadership content. So there was a certain section I was wanted to bring about that, about content marketing and how we are going about with it through
Yeah.
thought leadership and all of that.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I'll talk about it here as well.
Yeah.
So I know there's a pipeline that you have to look at, but
Yeah.
again, through your content and through your awareness campaigns, through your email campaigns, through your LinkedIn outreach, what you're trying to do is you're trying to create that platform where you can talk to them. So we have a something called like a discovery session, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's how we invite people, I mean invite these prospective people to register for that, and then that we kind of explain with use cases that, hey, this is how we can help you with.
Is this a
And
one-to-one session? These are one-to-one
so
sessions, right?
with our
Oh,
technical
okay.
team, yes. So that's how it happens, and we kind of give them that whole overview as to how our agentic AI layer can integrate with your existing tech stack and make your workflow more seamless, more efficient, and more easy to use, so that
Yeah.
you can start seeing results within weeks, not months.
When you were mentioning about when a category is not known, you define it, but with you there'll be 10 others who will be defining it, and you don't know what everybody is defining it as. So I
Yes.
think you already you raised that challenge and you answered it for me, saying that that is how you do it. You give a proof of the pudding, you give them POCs, and POCs were always there, but now this is to a different need and altogether. So
Yeah.
amazing, I think. So I think you also answered that part where I was going to understand that how do you use content marketing in the strategic lever, how do you use it as a strategic lever. So you did say, would you like to that perspective about education as well as educating, as well as the three E's that you mentioned: educating, empowering, and enabling. Is that how you would position your content marketing, or is there anything
Uh,
else you want to add to it?
to a certain extent, yes. So we try and educate and inspire, and then we also try to build confidence. And we try see. Again, I was going to talk about this a little later, but one of the USPs that we have, Ipsita, is now Covasant is an ISO 42001 accredited certification company, right? So what this means is ISO 42001 accredited certification is the world's first gold standard for an AI management system. AIMS is how they address it, right? So, which means that we are now certified solution providers of scalable and reliable AI solutions. So we are an ethical AI services provider. And if you look at it, we have joined a very select few group of companies that have achieved this certification. So this is also something that we go to market with through our content marketing strategy. What we do is we kind of say that, hey, this is what we are, and we are not just saying it for the sake of saying. We have got the certification backing us, and which is why. And of course, when I said the proof in the pudding is, we show them the whole architecture, right? We
Yeah.
have the required guardrails. We have the compliance built in into our solutions.
Right, right,
So
right.
all of these things. So we lead with a governance first approach, and that is what helps us get our message, out there. So all of these things are part of our messaging, and what we say, we mean it, and we have the goods to back
You
it
have,
up with.
and you, yeah, exactly, and you have actually created your framework or governance based on that. So very
Exactly.
interesting. See, this when we have these chats, normally we do not focus on the company or on the brand, because it's about you, how you've developed, and your experience. The aggregate of experience is what you give to any company, right? But having
Right.
said that, in this case, we did bring back what your company is doing, because I'm very, very excited or very interesting that you guys, how we have the digital first bank, you're a digital first company. You guys launched only last year, and your offerings itself are only around AI, and that has actually helped you make that series, and the entire thing you good for you, because everything works out. Even your product and delivery team is working in the context of what you're going to sell, so everything is very seamless. So this is the advantage you guys have of being born in the time when your solution was just emerging. So Rohit, we also discussed in this earlier part where you mentioned that selling one is no more to a single person, it's
Right.
to an entire committee. So rather very interestingly, we have something called, for a few of our clients, we do one-to-one executive closed room discussions. So
Mhm.
where we book, where in the same room, but we also do a pre-work. We have already figured out some of their pain areas, and the
Right.
company we are positioning, we also know what matches. Before that, we have done a profiling of few companies who match similarly, and then when we
Mm.
ask for a one-to-one closed room kind of a session, it's
Question.
very
Yeah.
it's very specific. And then
Mm.
what happens, then you're not dealing with one person in that room, huh? You already have a committee already. So how do you maneuver? See, if you're talking to each, then yes, you will send a persona led content for your team to talk. But what happens in such situations when you're caught in the room with all of them? How would you maneuver through that, Rohit?
Correct. So in such situations, I mean, this is simple. It's like when you're presenting to the committee in a room, you have to ensure your presentation covers points for each of them, right? So, for instance, like how quickly can this solution be deployed, and how quickly can they see the time to value, right? So, from the time of deployment till the time of value, how much time is it going to take?
Yeah,
That
the
will solve.
deployment guy ko wo bata do. Yeah.
Yes, so you tell them. Then about the guardrails for the
हाँ,
CISO, he or she will be interested in ये कितना secure है, how secure is it? What are the kind of compliances and regulations are you complying with? Are you adhering to make sure that this solution? Because at the end of the day, everything is data. Why is
right.
the company going to trust you? They're going to
Yeah.
trust you with their data, right? And that is like the most expensive thing today. If
Right.
the data is lost, then all hell will break loose, or if it is compromised, right? So
True,
you
true.
know the kind of cyber attacks happening all these days. In fact, as recent as yesterday, I was reading how McKinsey's IT, I mean, they had created an agent called Lily, and how that was hacked with some basic AI, agentic AI prompts, right? That was hacked. So at the end of the day, any buyer or prospective buyer is looking in a vendor,
Yeah.
what kind of guardrails do you have in place? What kind
Yes.
of compliance do you have? Is your solution having compliance built in, or are you banking on some third party? Right? If you say no, it's built in, then that's when they trust you more.
We talked about a committee being there, okay, but having said that, how do you see that, how do you use messaging or AI, when we talk about personalization specifically? Have you been able to look at the future of AI in various the concepts such as workflow automation or your marketing automation, and also content? How are you using it?
So
Impact.
there's something called personalization at scale is something that now vendors have to look at. This is
Hmm.
where I think the B2B marketing industry is still massively under leveraged.
Hmm.
According to McKinsey, again, I've got this research point. McKinsey shows that 71% of consumers expect personalized interactions,
Hmm.
and 76% are already frustrated when they don't get them, right?
Hmm.
Because imagine me sending you a same message which I'm sending to hundreds of people, and you're
Yeah.
like, I'm not even, it doesn't, it's not,
Right.
it's irrelevant to me, right?
And
So they're
you're doing a
already
me too to me, so I don't like it.
yes,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
we need to use or leverage AI to personalize our outbound communications, which we are doing,
Okay.
to personalize the website experience and the
Hmm.
nurture sequences that when you talk about email
Okay.
marketing campaigns,
Hmm.
right? And this has to be personalized to multiple levels, like by industry, by
Hmm.
role, by company size, by persona, and by intent signals as well, right?
Hmm.
So if somebody is consuming my blogs,
Hmm.
and somebody is downloading my white papers, I'm getting to see that pattern over the past 6 months, right? So I'm getting an intent signal that
Yeah.
so and so is interested or may express interest in the coming few months, and this is how I can now send a very personalized email outreach to this person,
Yeah.
because when you download something on your website, you have that person's email ID. So if that person has been continuously regularly downloading, you could send out a very personalized outreach saying,
Yeah.
hi, I've seen that you've been downloading. Hope you found it useful. Would you be interested in knowing more about this? Would you like to come on a discussion and have a quick, free trial, not a free trial, but a quick overview and quick, a demo of what we can do and all of that. So that's how you do it. So personalization at scale will matter. But again, the what will reward you is the attention to detail that you're going to give. So you
Yes,
have
that's
to like
nice.
very closely monitor all these things,
Hmm.
and that's where you have to leverage AI for all of these, right? And
Hmm.
then you have to look at predictive intelligence as well. So when we are using AI to analyze intent signals, content consumption patterns, their
Hmm.
behavior on a website also matters, right?
Hmm.
So how which pages are they looking, navigating to? What are they reading? How much time they're spending on that web page?
Right.
Did they read the case study? Did they look at the video or not? Again, right? And it's not just limited to the website. You look at social media channels. You look at your analytics on YouTube channel, right? So
Right.
all these things you have to analyze. You can leverage AI to analyze all of these things, and it will give you very quickly that, hey, these are the people or these are the personas that
Yeah.
who are regularly interacting with your content, and this
Right.
is how you can now. This should be your next message, and this is what your next action should be.
And then you can do it. Yes, yes. But when it
Yes.
comes to scale, even I was evaluating few tools from this perspective only, because you have, let's say, a list of, let's say, 4,000 people being active, but you'll have to segregate despite that. And when you start segregating, they also sometimes end up getting fragmented. But the smartness lies in being able to make a minimum segmentation, because
Correct.
see, at scale you can't do it still for every person, kind of a thing. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, if you go back to checking every person, how much time, who spent where, and then personalize it, I
Hmm.
guess the speed will come now. That's what we talked about. I wish those things get interesting. While you were talking that time, na, Rohit, I got into a fantasizing mode about Matrix-like movie. So, so when you said personalization, what if So my one of my customers is Zoho for a very long time, and they're very nice to us, and we've been working together very nicely. They had this industry-wise, very simple. See, it was a low-code platform, and then talking about it would be low-code can be used in so many ways, right?
Hmm.
We about 7-6 years back also they had this story where it was industry wise and each persona wise, and when that persona opens that page he would have that part. But imagine now with the scale of what AI can develop websites, what if you and I went to the website and we're a marketing person and the page just changes into a matrix and everything you see is for you and the other pages disappear? How would that look like?
That definitely can happen, Ipsita. So, in fact, a lot of these You can create landing pages very easily these days. So you
Yeah,
can have
landing pages
landing
would be.
pages
Yeah.
completely customized to the kind of persona you want them to land on. So the moment you land on, so we had done this experimentation in Infosys back in 21 or 22,
Hmm.
when if you know that people from a certain geo and from a certain industry are going to be visiting the website,
Hmm.
this is the kind of messaging we'll have for them,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we had tried it as a pilot and it had worked
So
back
what?
then.
Then a landing page then opened, right? Huh.
The landing page showed very customized content. So you're from, say, you're from Pune,
Hmm.
and they say, I mean, I'm just saying this as we speak. So I think for Pune, it's the poha and chaha is
Huh.
what is more
Yeah, yeah. Pohe and
relevant, right?
right,
So, and if
yeah.
I'm a food website and I know that somebody from Pune or Maharashtra or Bombay is going to visit my
Huh.
website, so the landing page will have poha and chaha's photograph, right,
Right.
there, and then talk something about it and the Maharashtrian culture. So I'm just saying it could be
Yeah.
customized. So when you land on that page, you are seeing what you want to see, or rather what interests you,
So
rather
it,
than
so,
saying
so it
idli or
shows your
vada.
location and it does it. Or but that's
Yes,
what checking your profile and doing it or seeing.
correct.
So but for that our internet speed, our infrastructure. So I see the recent AI summit that happened in Delhi. I think a lot of focus was on an infrastructure. What are your career insights for the marketing professionals who will upcome? What do you think they should be ready with, or what should be the skills they should be working on?
For the
Yeah.
new people who are entering marketing, most of them are digitally native, right? Now, what happens is they have to make sure they select the right tools, the right AI tools for the kind of objective that they are trying to achieve. Now, for
Yes. Yes.
example, if I have to say, Midjourney is one of the tools that most designers are using.
Mm-hmm.
So if they have to really, scale and leverage something, right? So
Yeah.
if they are creating brochures or they're creating some artifacts, right? So how quickly can they start utilizing? And now I think even Canva has some AI
Yeah.
functions built into it, at least the paid versions, right? So
Right.
the skills that you'll have to really leverage today is that how you can uh, do more, like become more productive with these tools. So a designer who would normally use Adobe Illustrator to create, say, one brochure a day, how can you leverage these tools like Midjourney, Canva AI, and all of that, and create, say, maybe four brochures in a day? So you give them the prompts and you
Yeah.
kind of get an output, right? So
Right.
these skills. So it's not just about knowing the tools that, hey, these tools exist, but it's about how you can leverage them for your own benefit and how for your own productivity, right? The
Yes.
same goes for, like, if somebody is doing a thought leadership paper, right?
Yeah.
Now I wouldn't, like, I think I had discussed this the last time as well, you wouldn't depend on an LLM for generating the content, but rather you will use it for doing
Yeah.
research, and
Yeah.
maybe get all the research and data points and everything, write your piece, and then ask the LLM, not just one, maybe more than one, to evaluate your work and identify areas where you can still improve. So
Yeah.
you could do that with a Gemini or with a Claude, right? Or with, say, Grok or with ChatGPT. So again, like, I have been using multiple LLMs these days. I mean, it's been a year now,
Okay.
and I have realized that for, say, one LLM, I will not again name them. So one LLM is good for really generating quick and compelling captions for your social media,
Hmm.
while another LLM number two, will
Hmm.
be good at giving you very deep research based, insights, which
Hmm.
would be very good or useful for your thought leadership pieces.
Right.
So one is not necessarily good for everything. So
Yeah.
that's how I've now segregated. So while this thought leadership wala LLM cannot give me compelling and quirky,
Right.
some captions for social media, which should be
Hmm.
a scroll stopping one, right? Because
Yeah.
everybody is scrolling. So what makes them stop scrolling and read your caption?
I was thinking of getting somebody on the training and the recruitment side, and exactly for this reason, because that also, will open up. That also syncs that way. Having said this, I think in the last, tell me, you want to add something, Rohit?
Yeah, another point that I want to say is, while dependence on these AI tools would be there, and as I said about evaluation, the talent that's entering the market, they should also ensure they maintain their human side of things as well, because an AI tool cannot do strategic thinking what a human can do, right?
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
Having marketing judgment, having the ability to say at this point this is what we should do, something what we call a gut feeling, right? I
Right.
mean,
Right.
my
I
sixth
really
sense
love
is
the gut.
telling me this. Yeah,
Right.
so that AI cannot do. So I
Yeah.
wanted to complement that as well. So while learning AI tools and what they do is important in this age of marketing, what
Right.
is also essential is you don't lose your strategic thinking abilities, right?
Correct.
You
Correct.
have to still think, evaluate, understand that whole thing, the persona thing, everything. You will get insights from these tools, but
Right.
at the end of the day, you have to make the decision and make these tools work rather than the other way around. The tools make you work. Don't just follow them blindly.
Very
Use your mind and then
don't stop using it. But I
exactly.
think over there even we are responsible for that, that when we are training the new set of the forerunners who want to take the baton on, I think we need to expose them to enough physical or in-person influence also. If you
Yeah.
rightly say, because of the deluge of these tools and platforms that you have, you realize everybody's running behind events and meeting people, because you also scared. And of course you can do all this, but then what do you do with all this? Use it and go and talk in person, use it in on a person, and make the relationship stronger with,
Yeah.
because your energy is saved in just making some things, and now you use the
True.
energy for bonding. So I think it's good, and we should give them that exposure as well as use it for ourselves. I think on that note, I think it's a very full conversation we had, but I do still want to touch the last part that I would like to. We spoke of committee members, we spoke as real persons, keeping our grounded self and the human strategic self. Tell me
Hmm.
something. B2C has always been exciting even more because everything is about now personalized selling, right? Even in B2B. Is there something, some concepts in B2C which you still find that are underused in B2B or have a potential to be leveraged or scaled up in B2B?
So it's then B2C, like I think once we had discussed this as well, it's all about how you try, believe, and then purchase, right? You try out something. So even if it's home appliance that you're buying, you would go for a demo, which they will give you a demo like washing machine X, washing machine Y, say a refrigerator, this has 6 cents,
Right,
ultra
right,
cooling, and all of that. Say you're buying an
right,
AC, or even as simple as buying outfits, right? You first do a trial and then you understand how it is, and
yeah,
then when you're convinced, you buy it. So
yeah,
the
yeah,
same aspect could be replicated now in a B2B strategy as well, where you start, because see, you don't have to oversell.
yeah,
We already discussed this at the beginning of our discussion, that companies or these prospective buyers are doing their research at
right,
at at
right.
फुर्सत से कर रहे हैं. So they are reading everything, they're doing everything, so they know more about your solution already, so you don't have to oversell it. But what you can do is you can give them that trial, right? Come try it out, and no obligation trial, that try it out and see, run a pilot, and then see how it is solving your problem. So this is something that if companies start doing more, rather than just going around blah blah blah, that we do this, we do that, we do this, we do that,
Put it down.
give them that playground or that sandbox to try out a few things, create that pilot, create that environment where they can execute or deploy a solution for a very small thing, and then show them the results there. That's what will convince them to actually invest in your solution. This is what I feel from a B2C perspective, which can be replicated, or rather, it's already there. I'm not saying that earlier
Yeah.
software trials were not there,
Yeah,
but
because it
now
was there always. It was about
yeah,
trying. But
it's
you're saying,
especially more important now in the space of agentic AI, at least, because
mm,
companies are really curious. Like beginning of the discussion, we discussed companies don't know what is agentic AI and how it is going to help their business. So this is where trial all the more is more important, because you tell them, hey, this is your business. We have analyzed your business, and these areas you could autonomize with an agentic AI or with an AI agent, and this will really boost your business in these many ways. These will be the measurable outcomes. And would you be
and
interested
this
in
will measure together, you must say, because
that?
you can't know it all even now,
Of course.
and let
Yeah,
the others be measured together.
exactly. So it will be a part of the pilot. So we do it together with you, we partner with you in this, and then we do it, we execute it, and then we see the outcomes. And then when you're convinced, we
Yeah,
can
yeah.
go ahead.
I think I had a great conversation, Rohit. We touched upon a very interesting parts, and so I think it was amazing for me. You tell me what was your favorite pick, and then we close it on that on today. And again, have a schedule something more deeper next time.
Sure. I think I like talking about the way we are leveraging AI for marketing and the kind of marketing strategies that we are doing for agentic AI companies and solutions. So that was
Yes.
my favorite pick. But having said that, it was really beneficial for me as well, as you gave me some good insights. So I hope what I said also made sense, and people who are listening to this will actually, take have some key takeaways for them as well. But yeah, looking forward to having more sessions like this and
Right.
share more, examples.
No, conversing often opens our eyes, and no matter how much we script it out, how much we think, but when
Yeah.
we talk, only humans talking to humans, then it multiplies. So I think this is a crux of having these chats anyway. Yes, something for the ecosystem, something for the fellow marketers, something for the the technopreneurs, so that they can make something which is helps us faster and better. So, and something for training, of course. Yes, Rohit. So have a great weekend, and thank you so much for this session.